This is really serious. This is really coming to happen. One must come from the dead accordingly to Luke 16. And he will come with a message. But those who do not believe in Moses and the prophets will not benefit from it. So let us stick to the scriptures by believing in Moses and the prophets from the first one to the last one. And when we find evidence that the line of prophets did not stop neither with John the Baptist nor with John the Revelator, and the necessity created by Moses by striking the rock 3 times instead of once, that necessity created by Moses by striking the rock thrice instead of only 1 time, the 2 more extra necessities created by Moses in order to keep him and continually elevate him to the level of one of the greatest prophets. I'm telling you, my friend, by all logical means, by all scriptural means, by all the laws and orders of heaven, of God's government, requires at least 2 more. At least 2 more. Now we know there was one in the form of Ellen White, indeed. And after her, she talks about 1 more to come. She makes a comment on that Malachi chapter 4. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Many years after John the Baptist, I know that was a partial fulfillment, but that particular spirit of prophecy makes mention of somebody to come with a spirit and power of Elijah, attaching a masculine identity to that individual by saying that, and when he, not she, but he, it is very clear, when he may appear, man will tell him, oh, you are too earnest, you do not know how to interpret your message, let me show you how to interpret your message. What a foolishness that is from uninspired man to try to take over of inspired type of individual. That is so ridiculous. Anyway, of the spirit of prophecy tells us there will be 1 more after her, in the form of Elijah, in the form of he, not she. Make no mistake about that. So see, brethren, those who do not believe Moses and the prophets, neither will they hear or believe the one who rose from the dead. We cannot overlook the fact that the devil is coming to his end, and he knows it. Once the 144,000 is sealed and formed and presented to be viewed, it's all over for the devil. They will have a supernatural strength. They will have a divine power, just like any of the prophets. And they will be little Elijahs. Yes, every one of them. And that is when the time of Joel 2:28 will happen, that our daughters will prophesy, our old men will see dreams and visions, and our children and our old people will prophesy. And there will be a great number, the 144,000, who will be prophets and kings indeed. A royal priesthood, a royal diadem, according to the scriptures. There will be a glorious company of saints. And they will be little Elijahs. They will be little Jesuses. Both ways we accept them to be prophets and prophetess and royal priesthood and little Elijahs and little Jesuses. A lot of people will agree to that aspect, but they would not want to hear about one single fulfillment of that final individual, that antitypical Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. See, my brethren, if we do not have him, we would never have the 144,000. His job is to bring in the sheaves before the harvest. First fruits of the harvest, they will have to be waved before our high priest for acceptance. And then the great harvest will start. The wave sheaves could never be waved before our high priest. They could never be presented without a true prophet. It is this antitypical Elijah the prophet. And when that single individual Elijah is enacted, elevated, and he is the porter who will open the gate for the sheep, he is not the door. We know that, but he is the porter. There has to be a porter before we can enter into the sheepfold of God, through the door, of course. And he is that particular porter. And then the 144,000 can enter. Then the 144,000 can be formed. Then the 144,000 will be elevated themselves also to be little Elijahs, little Jesuses, prophets and kings and royal priesthood. Search the scriptures, my friends. But most importantly, get a hold of the Shepherd's Rod message. It's all contained therein. These teachings are so plain and so beautiful and so elevating, because when we study the Shepherd's Rod message, we study the Bible and the spirit of prophecy. And I'm so thankful. When I walked up to this hill, I didn't even know what I was going to present. I didn't even know how deep this can go, and how beautiful opportunity I will have here with God to make this presentation to you, my friends. But when we make ourselves available, when we avail to the leading guidance and to the will of God, he can do marvelous things with us, with every one of us, with you just as well as with your children, with me just as well as with my children. And I pray, I continually pray, and I continually hope for that. Now I'm going to close this segment, a presentation, not in the name of the Shepherd's Rod, but in the name of a truckload of truth which I was able to obtain by studying that heaven-sent message. And I wish you similar blessings. The opportunities which God gives us are endless. God bless.